Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the webinar for Clearbooks Sole Trader Paid Plan. We're just gonna give a demo of our Clearbooks basic Sole Trader plans. So before we get started, a quick intro about myself. My name is Sami Rahman. I've been with Clearbooks for the last few months, and I do support Clearbooks systems with your queries and phone support as well. So I will be actually covering the overview of the paid Sole Trader plan, some MTD quarterly submissions, which is making tax digital, and we'll explain some features available in our system as well. If you have any questions or you need any assistance, you can scan the QR code displayed on the screen right now. A replay will be also sent after the session, so you can always get back to this. If you already have signed up with the Clearbooks free or paid systems, you can feel free to follow along inside your Clearbooks account as well. But I'll be actually taking you through a paid account right now. So let's share my screen quickly for you. Okay. Before we actually show the dashboard, let's take a look in the pricing plans for the Clearbooks Sole Trader. So basically, the Sole Trader free plan allows you to do most of the requirements that HMRC actually is looking for, which is the MTD income tax quarterly updates, MTD income tax yearly tax return filing, but you will be recording most of the transactions manually. And it is a free or self-service system. So you can go through knowledge bases, but for support and emails, one-to-one support, you will need the paid plan. So the paid plan also allows bank feeds, multiple bank feed allowance is there. You can create invoices and email them to the customers as well. You can also create codes, which we're gonna go through right now. Okay, so let's get back to dashboard. Once you have signed up with the system and probably have upgraded to the paid version, your dashboard should look like this, where all your general tabs are in one dashboard area, which should look like this. And the system also gives you account setup guide, where you will be linking your bank account to your Clearbook system using a third-party bank feed provider called Plaid. They're quite secure and a very good tool to import all your bank statements or transactions in the Clearbook systems once the setup is complete. So to set up the Plaid, if you click on bank accounts, you would have to add a bank account, or you can simply add a bank feed in there as well. So if you click on manage bank feed, if the account you have added doesn't have a bank feed, it will show you the Plaid setup process. Then you would be selecting your bank account and select the rest of the procedures by scanning the QR code. Sometimes it may want you to log into your banking app as well. And before you finish the setup, you would be given an option to select the date where you actually want to import your transactions from. So once that is set up, it will show here, but we will start seeing the amount of transactions that it has imported. The import happens 4 to 5 times every day, so that's about 4 to 5 hours difference, and you will start seeing the amount of transactions that is in your bank feed area under the bank accounts. So I've got 13 new total transactions to explain. That would be something I would do probably every day. And once you click on these transactions, you would see a very similar picture that's coming from your bank statements with the descriptions, the dates, and the money in and money out field. So you would actually have to explain them for HMRC to understand what type of transaction it is. So let's just go ahead and explain one transaction from here. So say, for example, we have a client payment of £1,200. You do have the option to mark any transactions as personal from here. Sometimes if you're using or adding a personal bank account, this will be a very handy tool to mark any transaction as personal, so you don't have to actually explain them as a business requirement. So because this is a business related transaction, we are assuming. So let's just go ahead and explain it. Okay, so if you click on it, it would give you these transaction, transfer, refund, and personal options. We would want to create or select a customer from the drop downs list. If you don't have the customers already populated, you should see an add button there, and you will be able to add new customers as well as you build your customers list when explaining every transactions. Once you have started the transactions, if it's coming from the same customer, it will show their name directly, so you don't have to add them multiple times. So yeah, so let's see, we have got other customers selected already, and the you will then need to go to the account code section. So these account codes are automatically selected depending on the description, but it's like you kind of still go through the account codes. So whether it's rent and rates, revenue, materials revenue, any sort of bank or account codes are actually available on ClearBooks directly. So you're going to create revenue, click revenue, and if it's an expense of sorry, if it's an income of £1,200, we're happy with that. We're going to check if the description is correct. You can also attach an invoice if you want to from your computer. That option is available here. But then if you're happy, you can simply save it, and that's a transaction explained. You should see the green tick next to it, and the system will have already explained this transaction. You can always undo the explanation if you think you need to modify it, or you need to make any changes. You can always undo the explanation and re-explain it later on. And then we can actually go through a partial transaction as well. Let's just explain an expense. So for example, you do have fuel, and you select the transaction again, and we can select the provider or supplier from here, which is, say, Shell as a supplier. And because it was for petrol, we can update them as travel or mileage. But if you don't want to explain or claim for the whole as a business transaction, you can actually only list the amount you need to explain. So say, for example, you only would be claiming 30% of it. So instead of 45, you can actually update to 15 and save the section. So there will be another £30 remaining. And if you wanted to explain that unallocated £30 as a personal expense, you can still do that by explaining it as a personal transaction. So yeah, let's just so that would be just for yourself, and clicking personal transaction is already listed, but you can put your name, anything as such. And on the account code, you would be selecting again personal transaction. or drawings. Okay, so that won't go towards your HMRC calculation really for these sort of account codes. And if you click on add payment, and you can see there is no unallocated balance. It's all matching, and the transaction is ready to explain fully. Yeah, and you can then see it has actually have a multi-part allocation, and it has been explained properly. But you are only claiming £15 as an expense here, not the whole amount. Okay. So yeah, we have explained an income and an expense. You can have multiple part allocation for incomes as well, just like the one we have just done. And the idea is for you to explain all these transactions as they come in, and so you can build your income and expenses for the quarterly updates. Now that we have explained the transaction explanation method, if an income or expense doesn't actually come through the bank statement, or you have a manual payment, you can still create a record manually, or you can create an invoice from your income section as well. You can also do codes as well. So we're going to create a code first, and then we're going to create an invoice from it. But you could create an invoice directly from that as well. So let's just go into the code section. So say, for example, we're going to create a new code, and we can add a customer. Okay. And our customer is Ben. We have never made any transaction with them, so we're just creating a new customer, and we're going to provide a text or test description, and maybe we're quoting them for labor that we're going to do. Let's say the unit price is £30 per hour, and we're going to work for 3 hours. And this is something you can actually quote a customer. So by just clicking on save and send, the customer will actually receive an email with the quotation, and you can simply send an email, and it will be ClearBooks branded or a secure no reply ClearBook email going to your customer. So once that's done, you can actually view the code, make any modifications if you need to by clicking on edit, change the unit price to say £35. The system will actually change, and then you can send it again if you have to. And then you have another option to create an invoice of that code. Say once the job is done, you're now going to invoice your customer. You can click create invoice from directly on the code, and everything was probably identical. It was maybe you had to work more, so you can increase the amount, and it will change the total amount in the end as well. And you can save or send the invoice again finally. You can also set up your invoice preview. You can modify it as how you need. You can add logo. You can select from a list of invoices on the paid versions as well. So a lot of modification on the invoice is actually available in the system. Once the invoice is paid, you can actually record the amount where it was received into. So if it comes to your bank, you select the bank and click on record payment, and then the system will identify the record or the invoice as paid. And once an invoice has been marked as paid, you cannot really edit it. It will be sort of logged, everything on the unit price or quantities. In that case, you can only void the transaction, really, not make any modifications or any changes for business integrity and auditing purposes. So if we go back to the dashboard again, um, the expenses actually work in a very similar way. You can manually record expenses. So say, for example, we have purchased some items from B&Q today as a business expense. The reference is again not mandatory. We have done some purchasing, and the amount is, say, £20. And if it was say for general admin or materials, and if we have paid from our bank, you can select the bank as well and click on save, and it should show up on your expenses list as well. You can see we have the transactions showing up in the system as an expense as well, like B&Q. Okay, and ideally, if you're using the bank accounts method, you don't need to really use the manual expenses or manually record of income, because it's all coming from the bank transaction anyway. But anything that's out of the scope, the option to record transactions manually is there. Another great tool we have got here is actually bills inbox. So something you have already received from a purchase, you can upload the file. Um, Say we have a receipt that we can upload. You can also use the ClearBooks app to upload any pictures as well of a receipt from your ClearBooks mobile app. That also works. It's going to take a few seconds to analyze, and it should capture all the expenses and supplier's name from the picture as well. So we're giving it a few seconds, and while it's processing, it should look something like this, actually, where you can see that the total amount has been captured, £4.50. It has already identified the supplier, and we are happy for this to process and save it. Once we have saved it, it will be prompted to explain anything else. But yeah, we're not going to explain the rest or all of them. And yeah, it should also create another expense list. Okay. And the final thing we need to definitely look into is the MTD for income tax. That's why probably most of you are here today. So you will actually need to go through a setup process where you'll be providing your national insurance number and set up your account with HMRC. And basically, it will be a communication between the ClearBook systems and HMRC systems, where we will be setting up your ClearBooks sole trader business with the HMRC sole trader business. Once the setup is done, you will come back again from the HMRC account to the sole trader, and you will be able to see the submission section. And the submission sections should look something like this, where all the obligations do come from the HMRC, really, and you will see all your quarterly submissions available, and you will be reviewing the current one. Everything that has been done, they will show on the top with the fulfilled tick mark. And if you click on review, it should show the transactions that has been captured from that very quarter in the systems. You can actually use the consolidated version, but you can also use the full version if your income exceeds the £90,000 threshold. Once you're happy with that, you simply click on submit to HMRC, and it will show again here as fulfilled, or it will also give you another notification of success. So once you come across to finish all the transactions, you will then go to the MTD tax return year-end amount, and this is also something uh, that you would need to do the final year-end submission, really. So anything that comes from your sole trader income or your property income, they all show up here. This is a fake data, really. So we have just pulled in from HMRC just for the demo. But ideally, any other income like savings, dividends, deductions, they do show up here, which are out of your sole trader or property income scope. And once the year ends, your HMRC tax estimate, this button should change to something like finalize. So you'll be able to confirm and finalize your year-end tax return from this section. So it will then actually show up on the drop-down. You can switch between your property business, sole trader business to your MTD income tax in case you need to have both sole trader and property business here in one account, really. Okay, so let's go back to the sole trader business again. And the final option where you can see is reports. You can actually see multiple transaction reports, balance sheets, cash flow, profit loss, trial balance, and stuff like that for your personal accounting. So this feature is quite handy if you want to take a look at all of your transactions, and you can download them or preserve them for exporting if you need to. Let's just go to the other options available here. Again, when you'll be explaining a transaction, you will be building up your customers list, but you can always manually add customers from here as well. And then again, that's for the suppliers as well. You can build the suppliers list manually from here, but you can also generate them when explaining the transactions as well. There are some tools available. You can keep some files uploaded here, which you can always download and upload to any transaction if you need to. You have the option to export any data in case you need to switch the platforms or anything. You can simply select a date period and select the type of data you want to export, and it will also be available for you to export from here as well. And the settings tab gives you some multiple options. You have got account codes. I have already mentioned. If you need some account codes that you don't see in this list, the list is quite extensive, really. But in case you see they're not available, you may need to come here and check whether they're actually ticked as a sales item or in the purchase item. And if you don't need anything, you can also untick them as well and simply save the display settings. So whenever you're explaining a transactions, on your account code drop down, depending on whether it's an expense or income, the list will show up as part of the ticks that you're seeing here. If you don't see a transaction, you can actually create your own transaction account code by using the create account code section, and it will also be available on your drop down afterwards. You've got periods. Ideally, you would be setting this up one time before you even start pulling up your transactions. It's just like set you up for your own accounting purposes. You've got opening balances again. This should be related to your bank feed or bank account. You should be ideally, this should ideally already pull in any opening balance from the time your bank is actually putting in the transactions. Okay. Um, and every transaction actually creates an import rules. So in case you need to make any import rules or need to change any import rules, these are available here. What import rule does is once a transaction has been explained manually, the import rules try to explain them for future transactions coming from the same customer or with the same transaction type or the same account code. It's a very good tool to give you some auto coding of the transactions in the future. So it will make things much easier for you. Okay. And finally, you can see invoice themes, as I mentioned earlier. You can come here and modify your invoice. You can duplicate and edit it and make as much as changes. You can add logos, um, set the settings from here, and save the theme. So, and once making it default, you will be sending this version of the invoice. All right, so I think we have explained the whole system briefly. You can click on the question mark and send us a message if you need to ask any questions, or you can give us a call on this number and you can code us the support code. We'll also be able to help you from there as well. The paid section also allows you to view the community support. The free versions only have access to the help guides. It's not available to request support on the free versions, unfortunately. It's a premium version, so you will only generate the support code if it's on the paid version. All right. Okay, so yeah, you have got business settings here. You can make any changes. You can also reset the business from here as well. In case you need to close the subscription, you can simply close the business as well, and it will close the whole business, and you will not be charged for the next cycle. But make sure if you are closing the business, you are also importing any transaction prior to this. Any personal changes, you can always make changes from here as well. In case you needed to add any other user, say for example, you want to add your accountant or any other user to manage the system on your behalf, you can come to the business icon and click on manage users, and you will be able to invite your accountant as well. All right, so that's pretty much it, really. Let's go back to our presentation again. Um, yeah, in case, again, I'm showing the QR code for the knowledge base. It will have loads of transactions already explained for you, and a lot of useful articles are available, and we're updating them regularly. So yeah, happy doing the clear books, and thanks for your time today. Any support related queries can come to us from our support channel, and we'll be able to assist you further on that. Thank you very much. Have a lovely day. Bye bye.